Welcome to Columbus Brick by Brick, the podcast where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of our city. Every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it. I'm Jon Styer, the broker and owner of Styer Real Estate Professionals, and each week we sit down with local leaders, business owners, and community members making an impact in Columbus. So from real estate and development to business and investing, we're breaking it all down brick by brick. And today, we're diving into the world of real estate law, investment strategies, and business growth with someone who's been on both sides of the table. As an attorney and an investor, my guest today is Mike Neiman. He's the principal attorney at Neiman Law and the president of Clear Sky Title. Mike has built a career at the intersection of law and real estate, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and hard-earned insights. Well, thanks, Mike, for joining us. Appreciate you coming onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And, we spoke a little bit about who you are and what you do. But to kind of reiterate, you are a real estate attorney and you own your own law firm. You're the principal attorney of Neiman Law, as well as a real estate investor yourself. So I would love to start out a little bit about that. Tell us about, is there any pivotal moments or stories that you can tell us that really got you into law, and specifically real estate law and investing?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for having me out. So
happy to have you.
Happy to be here. So I always knew I wanted to go into law. So I moved down from Cleveland to Columbus in 2012. And initially I was working with my brother-in-law who practiced criminal defense. So I started working there. Decided at a certain point that wasn't for me, isn't what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I got into law school, started going to law school right next to Capitol Law's entrance. They were building an apartment complex every day. And I would look at it and say, I'm interested in how this works and would like to one day do this. So have a goal of one day trying to develop multifamily properties, larger scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, hey, what's the best way to learn how to do this? It's probably to get into real estate law. So working through the coursework at Capitol, taking some time there, and eventually getting a good job at a real estate focused firm where I had a real opportunity to kind of get right into it. It was a small firm, so I wasn't at one of the bigger firms downtown where there's a joke, the first few years you don't really do much. You circulate call-ins on checklists and do things like that. But I was kind of just thrown right into it, and it was kind of, you need to learn how to do this, and you need to learn how to do it fast. So
okay.
Had a really good opportunity to learn a lot at my old firm, and then eventually branched off and did my own thing.
Did your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So it sounds like it was kind of like a chicken or the egg thing as far as real estate law and real estate investing. You really married those from the start, is what I'm hearing,
Mm-hmm.
At least in your interest. So how would you say, your role as an investor, but also as an attorney, has kind of shifted your perspective on the real estate industry or formed your perspective within the real estate industry for you?
Yeah, so I'd say it's really formed it in the sense that luckily I get to see a lot of different companies and how they operate and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thought is, I'm not stealing any unsaid ideas or anything like that, but I've worked with a lot of great experienced companies, and I've seen what they've done for 10, 20, 30 years. And, over time, it's just like that, that seems interesting. And, this family company's been running this firm for so long, and they seem to be doing pretty well. So I get to see their, structures, how they structure things and everything. And then eventually just decided there's no reason why we can't do this ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
we can't try to do that over, a long career. We started our firm about 4 years ago. 4-year anniversary is coming up, actually.
Congratulations.
So it's been, a good time running. And I just knew I needed to do that if I wanted to do the real estate investing too. It's tough to work at a firm and spend part of the day doing your own side thing or something else that you need time to do. So, the thought was start the real estate firm, eventually start the title company, which launched last year, and then kind of have those two companies, those two verticals, if you will,
Totally.
that run hand in hand. And then work there. That's where we make money. Not that we don't try to make money on the real estate side, but it takes a lot of money to make money in real estate. So, over time, the thought is we'll run these companies, we'll operate these companies, we'll move those funds over to the real estate arm and keep trying to build that up to, something that can hopefully be big and grand in the end.
So I'm hearing like you feel like you got kind of a peek behind the curtain for a lot of great investors, and that has led you to develop your business even further in the investment space. And I love what you said about the verticals in that they really tie together and play hand in hand. Let me ask you, when you think of yourself, do you think of yourself as a real estate attorney or a real estate investor and developer, or is it really you're both?
I'm a real estate professional, so
I love that.
Not according to the IRS. I don't meet that threshold, but I just tell people I'm in real estate. So have too many things going on to say I just do that. The main focus still is the law firm. It's been running the longest. It obviously takes up the most time.
Sure. And
it's where we make most of our money. So that's the main focus to keep growing that out right now. I have 2 attorneys on the team right now, looking to hire a fourth. I'm 3. We have 2 employees, and then looking to hire a fourth. And then as they continue to grow too, we're in the same office, the title company, so they're getting more experience on that side. They can help with that. One of the attorneys does help with the real estate investing side, almost as like an asset manager, you could say.
Okay.
So they work for the firm, but they kind of do help out kind of across the board with the different companies.
Totally. I know exactly what you're talking about with regards to the investor versus the professional. For you, an attorney; for me, real estate broker. I got into real estate initially because I wanted to invest in real estate, and I do, but that led me to operating in real estate and getting a real estate license and becoming a broker and starting my own brokerage. And I can imagine that, just like you, that takes up most of my time, and that's become my focus. But I still want to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
And they go hand in hand. So having that vertical, I mean, you've built your business out like that. And do you have plans to then take it to another level in that tacking on more vertical integration, or are you right now focused on your firm and your title company as well as your investing, or what are your thoughts?
I think we're tapped out on the integration.
Yeah.
So the ideal world is if we find a good deal, and we partner with people. So we're not buying everything ourselves. So the ideal world is we have a deal where we have a partner that we're going to work with. We're going to do the legal work on it. We're going to do the title work on it. We're going to invest in it. And that way we're able to kind of get our hands on the deal from multiple different areas. And typically we just roll all the fees into the deal that we can, so that we can keep growing that vertical. But for now, no, I think we're a little tapped out and would enjoy some time off. So.
Yeah. Don't overdo it. So when you're doing these deals, and you mentioned partnering, are you just partnering? Are you syndicating? How are you structuring these deals?
Yeah. So a little bit of both, and it kind of depends on the size. So there's actually a building down the street from your office here on High Street that we bought April 1st of last year, so coming up on a year.
Congratulations.
And that one I guess you could say, a true partnership. It wasn't syndicated. Just me, the attorney in my office who helps run the deals, and then one other partner who's also a client. So, I have this good Rolodex of people that I know love to invest in real estate, have money to invest in real estate. We found a good deal off market. We actually sent them a letter. Got to them by accident, but
oops,
they called us back. We started looking at it. Which is kind of funny. We were looking for apartment complexes, and this is it's a retail, 3 retail units with 4 one-beds above it. Mixed use property on High Street. We thought it was a good deal, and we were like, I guess we should try to buy this too and take it down. So. And
how's that working out for you?
I think it's the best deal we've done so far. So.
Well, again, oops, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah. So it all kinds of comes together in different ways, and then for the larger apartment complexes, we'll syndicate that. We'll raise funds. I'm admittedly not a securities attorney, so I don't do that scope.
Okay.
If you talk about branching out into different verticals, we'd probably try to add someone on or start doing that work at the firm, but it's a completely different area of law. So, real estate law, closing transactions is one thing that's, almost as foreign as like criminal law. I know enough to be dangerous, which is why I don't do it.
Yep.
So we hire third parties, and we have some good relationships, referral relationships with other attorneys in town that we like to work with, and we let them do what they're good at, and we handle the transactional side of it.
Love that. Speaking of the transactional side, you're a bit unique because you do operate the transactional area of real estate law, but you also do litigation. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Maybe an interesting story or anything you can share?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's really amazing how many different things happen every day in Columbus or all of Ohio, for that matter, where every day there's non-disclosure issues, foundational issues in houses. One of our cases we have up in kind of central Ohio, investor bought a property. 3 months later, part of the house fell down, collapsed, and we're suing them for certain non-disclosure issues and things like that. We have a few other cases where we're trying to recover investors' funds that invested into a deal goes south, or the deal just never happened, the money's just gone. So we like to kind of be a full-service firm where we don't just have to send people elsewhere, and for multiple reasons, but one of which is we don't want to send them to another firm and them never come back.
Right.
So we want them to stay with us. I do have a background in litigation, which is something I don't want to get away from. So we have a few cases coming up this year for trial. Those should be interesting to see if we're able to get a good result for our clients. Typically, cases get resolved short of trial, but we have a few cases we think that are going to go the distance. But yeah, we like to be a full service firm, and in my opinion, I feel that attorneys should do both. I know some people just don't like to be in court, and they don't like to speak in front of groups of people, and it's nerve-wracking. So it's natural. People don't like to do that.
Yeah.
But on the transactional side, it's good to see how things actually could play out and have to have that knowledge, which, not to say that people that just do transactions don't know what they're doing, but I just think it adds kind of another element that can help protect the client in the long run.
What about you? Do you have a preference, or do you like it all, or where do you land?
I probably prefer transactions where I'm just sitting at my desk all day working on matters. I was in court yesterday for 4 hours at a hearing that got a little fiery, and some attorneys were yelling at some prosecutors regarding some site plan compliance issues. And not that I don't enjoy that stuff. It's so adversarial versus transactional matters. We all want the same thing. You want to sell us your property for $1 million. We want to buy it for $1 million. I say to people all the time, there's a bunch of other stuff in between, but we can typically work through that.
Right. So maybe leave the drama to the side a little bit.
Yeah. Try to our the best. We try to keep people out of court, but most of the cases we have are cases in which they're finding us before they've talked to us before.
Right.
So we're dealing with kind of the blowback after the fact.
Right. Well, no, I'm sure most people probably don't want to take it all the way, but if you're not going to get the outcome you need without getting there,
got to do it.
What are you going to do? Well, changing the subject a little bit. As you're an investor and you've done multiple different types of investing, mainly in commercial, multifamily. Can you think of, and as we know, business is risk. There's risk involved, and that's why you may need an attorney down the line. But can you think of a challenge that you faced in your investment journey, and talk to us a little bit about how you faced it, took it on, and solved it?
Yeah. So, not every deal goes good. And, there's, I don't want to say bad decisions made, but some deals that you just shouldn't have done. So at one point I was trying to flip houses, which you can do it. It just takes time. And that's kind of not something I have a lot of. So we had to flip that. Probably didn't go that well. I was doing the deal with, it was actually a few guys from Israel that, I met through another colleague, I would say. Really great guys. They put up the money. I was doing the work. Timing was really bad. It's when the market tanked like 2 or 3 years ago. Tried to flip the house, couldn't sell it. I ended up buying it, so I ended up taking it on. So now I own the house myself, but we probably lost like $10,000-$15,000 on the deal. So
Okay.
just feeling a little bit bad about, I have these people invest with me. We end up losing
Sure.
money. So, I handled that in that instance. I ended up just paying them back whatever they lost and just said, I'm going to hold this for 10 years and I'll get my money back.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are good people. You invested with me. Deal didn't work out, but I want to make you guys whole. So one of those things where, you do what you can. And we do see a lot of deals on the legal side go bad too, where, investor equity gets wiped out and things like that. In those instances, you may not be able to make the investors whole, but I try to always do the right thing. So I wanted to make my partners whole in that instance.
So yeah, I mean, flipping is definitely a whole different bag.
Yeah.
I always say that's a job.
It is a job.
Flipping is a job. So if you want to have a job in real estate, that is an option.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it on the side is not a recipe for success.
No, and we've had other instances where contractors stole, $30,000, $40,000 from us, and
Jeez.
I'm a lawyer, I can sue them. So we were gearing up to do it in that instance. Then they ended up filing bankruptcy, and it's just like there's just some bad people out there, bad apples, and it's part of real estate. Like you said, there's risk involved in it. Not every deal is going to go exactly how you thought it was. You just got to be prepared to take the hit and kind of weather the storm.
Yeah, completely. So are you flipping still?
No.
And you still own that house?
I do still own that house. I don't know if I'll ever do a heavy renovation project again.
Too many variables, or
too many variables, and I do want to do new construction, and there's a lot of variables with that as well. But you can control them more. Mm-hmm. There's just so many things that go wrong in older houses that to me, it was not worth my time anymore.
Yeah.
And that project was like $150,000 renovation.
Yeah.
So it was a full gut.
Right.
Mechanicals, roof, windows. It was the whole.
That's a lot to put into a house.
It was the whole thing. So it was a duplex over in Franklinton. So trying to stay away from that, just buying things that hopefully you can make money day one, if not day one, hopefully in the next few months.
What would your ideal deal look like for you?
So right now we're targeting kind of the 40 to 100 unit properties, ideally in Ohio, but we have some properties down in Kentucky and Louisville. And I would also go over to Indiana, so trying to stay in this like region and grow that out. I like that size. It's a little less competitive, I think. And also I don't want to start buying properties that some of my other clients look at. So if any of my clients are ever looking at a deal that I'm looking at, I just back out. It's
the conflict of interest is not worth it.
Yeah. So even if they're thinking about it, it's just I'm not gonna do it unless we're doing it together. Obviously, right. Then we would do it together. So ideally, we are buying a property, a 55 unit up in Cuyahoga Falls next week or in 2 weeks. So that's a good deal where it's stable cash flow. We'll buy it. We have, asset manager, property manager. We have kind of limited roles where, again, we're doing the legal work on it, not doing the title work on that one, but we'll invest in it. We will have some oversight. We'll get some fees back for doing that, but it gives us more time back to kind of focus on the law firm.
Cool. Well, good for you. So if we could speak a little bit back about the law firm, where do you see, and almost just in the business sense of it, where do you see that taking you in the next 3 to 5 years? What would be your ideal situation with that?
Yeah, it's every day I think it changes a little bit. So we're currently in a stage where we're not really taking on new clients just because we've kind of grown a great client list and we're busy and we have enough work. And part of the firm's kind of core culture is we're not going to be a firm where you're working there at 6 p.m. on a Friday night. That's
I'm sure that's appreciated.
Yeah, that's not who we are. Even last Friday when we got back from a deposition, it was 3:00. It was nice out. I said, "Take off. Let's go enjoy the weekend." So, I'll still stick around. I stuck around till 5 p.m. getting some more work done. But I want the people that work there to really enjoy what they're doing and kind of enjoy their lives, which. Isn't the typical law firm model. It's just bill, and you have this hour requirement, and if you don't hit it, you won't get your bonus, you won't get promoted. That's not really who we are. So I think in the next 3 to 5 years, the goal is to actually bring on a partner to help me grow it more.
Okay.
it's one of those things where if it was all I did, I'm sure it would be bigger than what it is right now. But trying to grow out these different verticals just takes time. So,
of course.
Looking to hire a partner and just more attorneys to keep building it out and keep helping people. That's why we started it. We wanted to help people out that, if you look up real estate attorney in Columbus, you're not going to go to one of the big firms that charge you $600 an hour. So trying to be a more cost-effective firm for people that, not that they couldn't find anyone to represent them, but to give high-quality representation to people at an affordable price. So we don't want to get away from that. So it's, it pains me to turn people away right now, but it's, also have a ethical responsibility to not take on too much work.
Sure. Completely. And it can be hard to turn away business, but I like that you said that you're trying to take care of your clients in the best way you can, but also take care of yourself and your employees and maintain a work-life balance. And I love that you said that that's kind of something that really drives you and is important to you on both fronts, because I feel like I'm aligned with you on that, where it's easy to let that slip away.
Yeah.
And but it's important, we're living our lives, and we gotta take care of ourselves and the people around us as well.
Right. And everything I shouldn't say everything in law, but a lot of things we need this done today. So even last week, I think I had 5 people tell me we needed something back the same day. And it's just, I think there's a little bit of disconnect with some clients where, we have more than just a few clients. So I might be in court. I might be busy in a deposition. I might be busy doing something else. So some people, when they expect to get things back in 2 hours, just isn't always reasonable, but we do the best we can.
Yeah. So speaking to that, and I know you're looking to continue to grow your firm and your business. What strategies do you plan to employ to see yourself through that in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think a big strategy is really just finding good partners to work with. So from the law firm side, we're talking to a few people. We'll see if we can find someone to join the team in kind of a more senior role. And if not, even if we do, we'll still grow the team with attorneys. On the title company side, we're working on trying to put together, I say we because I have some people that have expressed an interest to join the team. So working on putting together a joint venture or joint ventures for the title company, which is essentially where, like a brokerage like yourself could buy shares into a joint venture of a title company. Then the thought is, you'll work, you'll try to direct business to the title company. You can't force it. Obviously, there's rules regarding that. But and then as a part owner of the title company, you receive your compensation in form of a member distribution.
Getting back into the securities.
So talking to kind of a few different brokerages and kind of larger developers in Columbus that are looking for that opportunity, and we're trying to grow that and build that together. So we'll see if some of these things start to come together. And I always would say I do think the title company will be bigger than my law firm.
Okay.
I think there's just so much opportunity here in Columbus with people doing so many deals. We have a great network of clients that are doing deals.
Sure.
We have a lot of clients that they would just prefer for us to do it because then they're not going to other people.
It's a one-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop. So they'll just talk to us. We just closed a deal for our client the other day where they sent us the money like 2 weeks prior. They signed a resolution. They had to sign all the paperwork for closing. They didn't have to do anything. That's what they wanted to do. So trying to grow that out with partners. And the same thing with the real estate investing side. Typically most of the deals I do, we have partners on it. That's what real estate is. It's a lot of partnerships, a lot of doing deals together and coming together to raise capital to buy buildings that are typically out of the price range for one person, unless you've been doing it for a long time.
Right.
So, if we have the same conversation 10, 20 years from now, hopefully we're buying assets just in our main holding company without any partners. But in the near term future, it's going to be working with a lot of good people. And we have a good team at the firm that, can help get us there. So some really strong guys on the team that I'm looking forward to growing with, and then some really good candidates that hopefully we can grow with together over the next few years.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is a marathon with a lot of sprints during the marathon.
Daily sprints, right? Well, okay. Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Let me ask you, in your career, did you have any mentors that helped guide and shape you? And do you see yourself mentoring anyone, or can you give any advice on mentorship in general?
Yeah. So had worked with a lot of great people, a lot of great mentors. I got asked this question about a year ago at a different speaking event, and I grudgingly said my brother-in-law, because he runs his own criminal defense firm that he started probably 12, 13 years ago, and he's a great guy. He's a tough guy. He's work harder than anyone else, pushes me. I actually lived with him for a little bit when I was wrapping up law school or in law school. And he forced me to get on what's known as law review. So, which in law school, you have to write a 30, 40-page article on a topic. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an option living in his house. He's like, you're going to do it. Yeah. You're going to learn about it. You're going to do this. It looks really good. So he forced me into doing it. I actually ended up writing on opportunity zones when the law became law back in 2017, 2018, around that time. And it's really helped me in my career, because that's kind of what I specialize in. So I work with a lot of people in structuring OZ deals, getting an Ohio-specific tax credit, selling those tax credits. So it's really helped me get in with a lot of firms, or a lot of developers, I should say. And, if he didn't make me do that, who knows where I'd be at. But, he's someone that I do really look up to. And also, honestly, my old firm I worked at, I learned a lot from those guys. They were incredibly knowledgeable, some of the smartest real estate attorneys in Columbus, or in all of Ohio, I should say. So I miss working with them at times, but it was just one of those things where I started to get a client list and said, I got to do this myself. I have this entrepreneurial bug just kind of making me go see what I can do. So learned a lot from those guys, and really enjoyed working with that whole team.
Nice. The brother-in-law, there's got to be some pun in there.
He's we're basically brothers. So
yeah.
I think he's been with my sister for 20, 25 years. So he's family, and we give each other a hard time. So.
Yeah, well, good. I mean, that's good. And what about you? Do you see yourself mentoring, or maybe in the future mentoring maybe younger attorneys as you grow your business and incorporate them? Or
Yeah, would love to obviously have more time to do that. So the two attorneys that are working with us now, they are both younger than me. So I do like to think that I am mentoring them and hopefully growing them and shaping them to be great attorneys, great real estate attorneys. I would also like to get more involved in giving back. Years ago, I always wanted to go back to Columbus State and teach. That's actually where I started. So I went to Columbus State Community College to start. Transferred into Ohio State, then went to Capital. So I've kind of been all around Columbus, but always had a desire to kind of go back and just teach a real estate course. I think I have the subject matter expertise at this point to
I would imagine you could probably slide in there and be okay about it.
So I one day hope to do that, but that's not in the next year or two, but would like to eventually get back and kind of get back to the community in that aspect.
Now, you brought up opportunity zones and said that you kind of specialize in that. Can you think of a specific time where you helped on an opportunity zone deal that led to maybe some really great community development or investor success or anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, we've worked on probably 50, 60 OZ projects at our firm. So they've ranged from as small as a duplex, that duplex in Franklinton that I still own. That was in an opportunity zone. All the way up to 250 unit apartment complex deals that we're getting done. So sometimes the state-specific tax credits that we can get for these projects in Ohio, sometimes the projects are dependent on getting these credits to contribute in the sale of the credits as equity. So we've had a few good deals where luckily we were able to we've gotten all the credits we've ever applied for. It's never been an issue. There is limited funding in the program, so it's not always a guarantee,
Right.
but helping some of especially the younger developers with these projects where, that they really need it. There's some other developers that
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus. They're not, dying to sell it right away. But some of the other ones, they get it, they sell it, and it helps them keep going. So it's really helping them kind of grow and expand and blow up their business.
Yeah.
So every time that, we have a successful project, successful closing, that's always a good success in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, good for you. And that's great that you are able to help people and investors and developers with that because, from the duplex all the way up to the 250,000 or 250 unit property, like it's all important that those properties are brought up and developed. And,
Right.
we're and I say we, but we as an investors are, looking to improve the housing stock in
Right.
Columbus, Ohio.
And the nation, there's a national shortage, big shortage here. So like we need more housing. So projects are really tough to get done.
Right.
So if certain projects don't have certain incentives from the state or the city, they just simply can't get done. And that's not a recipe for success in the long term.
Completely.
So, we need these incentives. They're great. They help the deals get done, and we need the housing. So
Right.
we need to keep going with it and keep getting these deals turned out.
Completely. I mean, the housing shortage is an issue that pretty much everyone, I think, is aware of. And so whatever incentives can be brought to the table to get them done, and you're a piece of that, so that's great. I love that.
Yeah. It's been a really great opportunity. And, going back to maybe I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for my brother-in-law. So.
Well, there you go. Well, I really appreciate you coming by. This has been awesome, very insightful, and I know that I learned some stuff, so thank you.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share where we can find you, whether that be online or social media or anything.
Yeah. So don't have a lot of social media, so just our company website, Neiman Law LLC. If you can just Google it, you'd find us there. But other than that, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Always looking to help out more people when we can. So, and if we can't help you out, we usually like to point you in a direction where someone can.
Perfect. Well, great. Well, thank you again for coming by. This has been great, and look forward to chatting with you again in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. So that's a wrap on today's conversation with Mike Neiman, and what an insightful deep dive into real estate investing, legal strategy, and business growth. I want to thank Mike for telling us about his journey and expertise and really highlighting how smart investing, risk management, and strong mindset can shape long-term success. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or maybe even share it with somebody who you think might find it valuable. And you can connect with Mike and learn more about his work at his website, neimanlaw.com. The link's in the show notes. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time as we continue to uncover the stories behind Columbus's growth, one conversation at a time, here on Columbus Brick by Brick, where every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it.